losery.
Welcome to BeerThralls presents the Beer Protocol. I'm James.
Hi, James.
Now we have to talk about robots. You hurt my feelings.
Oh, robots don't have feelings.
Oh, you're
I'm drinking a
taking
rum and
out of my
coke.
mouth. I'm drinking Angel's Envy Rye.
I have ranch water hard seltzer.
That was Matt at the bottom. That's Jake
Hi.
right there. All right. Today we're gonna talk about the Iron Giant.
I
Different
thought
game.
we're going to talk about the Tin Man and wonder why we don't have a heart.
Oh, that too.
Hey,
James,
I'm
we
the
discussed
one.
this yesterday.
I'm the one who won't lie to you. We're gonna talk about Sentinels. So we're gonna go kind of quick. I know it's a whole affiliation, so we're gonna talk about one model and apply everything about it as a blanket because they're pretty similar.
They're pretty similar. Matt, read the card.
No. Don't forget, Cassandra Nova is part of them,
Also
I
part.
believe. So we have to talk about her eventually. But
We
in
need to
this
talk
case,
about
the
Nova.
Sentinel Prime Mark IV, also known as the Sentinel Prime Mark IV, has 3 physical, 4 energy, and 4 mystic defense with 10 health, 5 threat, size 5, and a short movement. Short movement is counterplayed with a gigantic base. His builder is a Plasma Bolt Mark II. You get damage or power equal to damage, and when this attack is chosen, you may pay up to 3 additional energy to add 3 dice. See, his spender is Physical Suppression Protocol Mark II. Range 3, 9 dice for power. On Wild, he has Suppression. After this attack is resolved, for each Wild in its attack roll, the defending character gains one of the following special conditions: Incinerate, Shock, or Slow. We are specifically talking about the leader of the Sentinels. He has Mutant Hunters. When an enemy character is dazed, specifically dazed, after each effect is resolved, choose a number of allied characters up to the dazed character's threat value. Each chosen character gains 1 power. A character cannot gain more than 1 power from his leadership ability per turn. He has Restraint Cables for 2 power. Choose an enemy character within range 4 and line of sight. The chosen character is pushed towards this character's short. This can only be used once per turn. He also has Pattern Analysis for X power. While this character or an allied character is within 4 range, is attacking or defending during the modified dice step of the attack, this character may spend up to 3 power to use the superpower. For each 1 power spent, this character or allied character may reroll 1 dice. For Infinity and beyond, he has Power Matrix. At the end of this character's activation, it gains 2 power. It also has Sentinel programming. This character cannot be advanced or pushed by Mystic attacks or superpowers, and when defending against Mystic attacks, this character counts Wilds as 2 successes in defense. He also has Flight and immunity to bleed and poison, which makes perfect sense because he's a robot. On his flip side, he just gets 8 health instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also looking at the normal Sentinel, he really just gains Master Mold, which is saying you can carry 2. He's one less threat, a couple less hit, and like his main powers are just like a dice short.
So otherwise, very, very similar. A substantial difference in health. Although having 7 healthy and 6 injured, a normal Sentinel at 4 threat is still pretty sturdy, especially since they are 3/4/4 defensively.
D.
I mean, they're giant.
And with having Sentinel programming, it makes him much more defensive.
Yeah.
Against Mystic, yeah. So basically, play Sentinels to counterpick Convocation hard.
Yeah.
And Midnight Suns by some.
So Sentinel Prime Mark IV and the Sentinels in general, these are kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie, they run hot, they look hot.
They big.
A range 3 5 dice builder is pretty good, but the option to spend extra power to crank that up to potentially an 8 dice, again, 8 dice builder, because it still generates power, means that unless you need it for a specific tactic card or a planned power usage, I would almost always dump dice into boosting it. Because
I mean,
James,
mathematically, yes, it's better. It's more It's
mathematically,
just as
you're getting
many.
it back.
Yes, mathematically you are kind of getting it back, but I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm definitely every turn dumping this into it. He doesn't
mean,
he really
I can-
doesn't have.
I can
I
tell you every
straight up
turn
think you're wrong.
you're never making the choice of suppression protocols Mark II.
Hmm.
If I
If you-
had enough for Suppression Protocol Mark II, I would probably go for Mark II. Because for literally 1 more power, I get 4 more dice. So it's the same cost assessment, same range, and then I can add SAS conditions.
But it's not the same cost assessment because there's no buyback.
I had just
Right,
noticed
you
that
won't-
suppression protocol on the Sentinel is actually 1 less power too. That's
There you
kind
go.
of nice.
It's even easier. So
But
Look-
mathematically, it's still the same, so it doesn't matter. And if you're bringing him to put out special conditions, I could do other characters cheaper. So why am I ever gonna do the suppression protocol?
big fat donkey hits.
Yeah, nine
Which I
fucking dice.
which I could do with plasma blast, and that 1 extra dice doesn't add that much,
Well, okay,
Maybe
mathematically speaking. So
technically,
why would I ever do it?
technically, kind of
a
true.
tactic card says you do it without any second hesitation.
Oh, well, we'll get to the tactic cards,
So
but
we'll get to
he's
those.
he is
Well,
technically
right now we're in
correct.
vacuum mode.
So
In a vacuum, if I have it for suppression protocol, and if I don't need as like a specific restraint cables play, because remember the only superpower that Sentinel Prime can spend on
Pattern
during his
analysis.
pattern analysis and restraint cables, and he gets 2 at the end of his turn, so he's always going to have 2 up for pattern analysis. So I don't have to save specifically for pattern analysis necessarily.
I don't know, because you could target ally characters within 4. So I'd rather save the dice to spread out.
Yeah, but I also don't need to reroll things if they're dazed or dead.
But you're not only bringing Sentinels. You're also bringing Cassandra Casanova,
Mhm.
who would love pattern analysis.
It's good. It's a hard choice. I think for a regular Sentinel, it's brain dead. You take suppression protocol over plasma blast if you can, because they
No.
don't have pattern
No,
analysis.
but in
no.
both cases,
my god!
you still
guys
want
are so
plasma
lame.
blast. No, because you think about it. Suppression analysis, the only benefit I'm getting is a special condition.
Mm-hmm.
Plasma blast, what I'm getting is a spend and reward.
All right,
Because at 8 dice, you're gonna generate power back.
for the 3 power.
1 fewer die for the same cost.
Honestly, I believe you're wrong. I mean, I would never, ever do suppression protocols. There's no reason to.
I really strongly disagree, because what are you saving power for on a regular Sentinel?
Pattern analysis.
No, regular Sentinel. Regular
Oh,
Sentinel.
a regular Sentinel?
That does not
Oh.
have pattern analysis.
Nothing. Restraint coils, maybe, or restraint cables.
But
So why do you have to make it back?
Oh.
Just go all in, get the conditions, slow down your opponent, because they have Incinerate and Shock for lower defense and lower offense.
all right, fine. I could see doing it on regular, but I could never see the reason to do it on Sentinel Prime.
I agree with that.
Hmm.
Exactly what. Yes, I would see it on a normal Sentinel, being able to throw that shit out all day. On the Prime,
And-
you're doing better with just throwing the extra dice into Plasma Blast Mark II.
It's also worth noting regular Sentinels can suppression protocol consistently, like every
Yes.
activation after the first round, because they're going to generate 2 off of Power Matrix and then get their 1 for the round. So they're after round 2 onward, a regular Sentinel is guaranteed to have 3.
So basically, what it's coming down to is we're both right. It's whatever you feel like.
Which
I don't
means
agree with that,
statements like always or never are silly. It depends on the situation.
That's
man.
right. Statements
No,
like always and never are always silly.
no, I actually agree with my always and never. if I'm doing regular, I could see I would always probably do suppression protocols because I got the 3, unless I had to do restraint cables.
All right, so let's move on.
On Prime, there's no reason to ever do suppression protocols.
How do we feel about their? How do we feel about their? I'm pushing on. I'm not having you debate
Their
this.
attacks are good, y'all.
Yeah. I'm
Mutant
not having
Hunters.
it. So how do you feel about the Mutant Hunters?
I think it's worthless, but
You are so mad about
Wow. Just because
Well,
Black
'cause-
Order is now being crushed by Sentinels does not mean
no,
that.
it's only on dazed, which means there is
But it does limit
literally
it to early game.
a max you can get at the average characters are 3 threat, or you're gonna get a lot of 3 or 4 threat. So you're actually going to most likely over accrue power, and you're never gonna get the max amount out of it.
Wait.
Wait,
Except for Bob.
no, screw
Bob,
Bob.
yeah, okay, fine. Bob, with a
'Cause he's
very, very,
dazed,
very small exception.
dazed.
But you're most
Eh.
likely only running 3 models, which means anything 3 above 4 threat, you're losing a power per
Mhm.
days.
Yeah, it's extra. I really just
I mean-
I see this as like a
And
extra
then by the
little
and then by the time you're gonna get there to use it, you're gonna be late enough in the game that you're gonna be generating enough power that 1 power doesn't actually swing a battle. So what
Yeah, but then that
there's
gives you what you need for pattern analysis.
I mean, it gives
but I'm gonna get that anyway at the end of my turn. So what does it matter?
God, I want to say Casanova
Cassandra.
because you keep doing it. Cassandra, it's going to give Cassandra Nova the 1 extra power. And that's really just it's a
But
here you
but
go. It's a
realistic
bonus.
realistically, you're not really probably achieving this until second half of
2 or 3.
turn 2, maybe most likely turn 3. So
Yeah.
by then you're already accumulating power. So what's that 1 extra really gonna give me? It's kind of there to be cute, and that's
Well,
about it.
The closest thing to it is Magneto.
Yeah.
But but
Magneto's a-
Magneto can generate a lot more realistically in the
Well,
beginning because it's destroying terrain, which he can
right,
do
but
straight from the beginning.
yes, you are incredibly on brand for why I was literally about to say Magneto.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
I said the closest. I didn't say it was better or worse.
I'm sorry. I really, really hate this affiliation power.
I
I passionately hate this.
So
I think it's underwhelming.
again, it's not necessary for Sentinels. Sentinels are generating so much power. It's
Actu-
great. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
It's great for Cassandra Nova, and I'll say it now because we're going to talk about it. They have a tactic card to make any other model in the game Sentinels affiliated.
True,
So,
but
When you
still,
add that, and you can start funneling power to any other model in the game that might be power hungry for whatever you need it for. I think this is still a little better than Bargain Basement. It's still better than Shadowland Daredevil.
okay,
Oh, God, yeah.
fine. This is like Family Dollar versus Dollar Tree. Like, it's gonna be a little better, a little more expensive, and slightly better product, but it's still dirt cheap and off-brand. What's
It's
the
like
point?
it's like Five Below compared to Dollar Tree. But I do
No,
want to
that is
say
X-Force, sir, because it's more usable than
I
this.
do want to say that Jake, you hit the nail right on the head. This faction is not based around their power. This is not like Criminal Syndicate where you're just like, cool, I'm building around the fact that I'm having 1 model count as 2 models on a point. I can pass off objective markers. You're not building a Sentinels list around this power. It's just extra.
I don't even think it's extra.
It's extra. It's
It
there.
just it might as well not even be in the card, honestly, in my opinion.
So hang on. So is there like a minimum threshold for how good something has to be for it
Yeah.
not to be value added?
Yeah, it has to have a beard.
Yeah, pretty much. No, it's just to me any one of these that really doesn't take effect until turn 3. If it's going to take effect turn 3, it better be game changing. And this isn't game changing. 1 power isn't going to get me that because I can only get
Yeah.
it once per turn. So now, in order to realistically get the most out of it, you can only daze 1 character per turn. If you do 2 characters, then you're screwed. You just lost power.
You didn't lose power, you just didn't gain any extra.
No, that is lost power.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, but it depends so much on the matchup. Did your opponent play super wide? You're going to trigger this a bunch potentially, even in the same activation.
But that's what I'm saying. That just makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Especially because it's only on days. If it was days and KO, I'd get more around it.
Yeah.
Because it's doubling the opportunity.
Like a lot of things we've seen, this is probably something that during their playtesting got people really upset because it was dazed and KO'd or something else, and they got super overbalanced. So they may have gone too far reining it in, and now it's just kind of like, eh.
How do we feel about restraint cables?
good. They all have it. Use it.
Yeah, pull people off points, pull people
Worth noting.
closer, set up beam attacks. It's just awesome.
It's worth
pushed.
noting. It is a push towards. It is longer range than their actual attacks. So that means that if they have power, which again, Power Matrix says they do, you can pretty much hit anything within range 4 of these giant boys.
And then pull it into range to go dead. Boom.
I mean, you can use it to get things around like terrain and stuff, but with how many dice they're throwing out, I'm kind of like, This, to me, everything Matt just said is on restraint cables. It's a waste of power.
No, you're straight wrong. I'm sorry.
No, that one
You're
I actually
straight wrong.
disagree wholeheartedly.
You know
with. I'm
what?
sorry.
You know
James.
what? Just game off.
These are divisive models for us. Like, we all have kind of vastly different opinions, I feel like, on how certain parts of their kit works.
Actually, real quick, how do we feel about the Sentinels as a whole?
I think they're super cool. I've heard they're a lot of fun to play, and they're going to be giant presence on the table.
Matt.
I think they were built to be super fluffy and adorable, and I would play them if one of you guys wanted to play like X-Force or X-Men, and we wanted to live out our cartoon, Mighty Jake's cartoon heydays. You're too old.
I watched the you
of the cartoon, and I would love to do that, but I don't see them making a huge presence in list. I mean, they're too expensive for what they necessarily do. I get their points, but there's just better for their point value.
You're lucky I turned my hearing aid up so I could hear that. I think they're a great scenario like pieces. I probably would never run them. I think they're to me they're like a Black Order sort of.
They're less functioning Black Order.
Yeah.
Black Order does more.
Pattern analysis.
It's
great.
Fury's reroll ability. It's good.
The only time I could see myself ever playing this is in my X-Force, just because I need something to sit on a point better, and just more rerolls are fantastic.
Power Matrix, you just get extra power. Now the strange thing is, it's at the end of their activation, which is kind of weird.
Which is redeeming for me because I got it in the beginning.
I mean, you get the one when you start off with, but it's kind of like a really weird Asgardian thing.
And I think that is meant to balance them more for their points, because you can't walk in with a buttload of power unless you earned it in other ways. So it forces you to use it for its defensive abilities.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's still, I don't know. It's cool. It gets 2 extra power. I can use pattern analysis guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Tactic cards out of activation. Tactic cards means they're batteries for it.
Yeah.
So
Sentinel
it's cool.
programming?
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
That's just good.
I mean,
I will point out as well, not being pushed by mystic attacks or superpowers, and they're size 5. So
that is weird. Why only mystic attacks?
Because the vast majority of attacks that push are physical and they're size limited.
Yes.
So they
you don't need to worry about
protection against physical pushes because they're size limited, because they're size 5.
I think Enchantress just touched them in a bad place, and they were just like, no mystic.
Could be.
To kind of go along with that size, though, they'll never get cover.
They will never get cover.
Which, I mean, it is balanced out with the amount of health it takes, but but they're always a target. They're always going to get hit. You can't hide them anywhere.
It'd be a wonderful survey to know how much cover is playing a role in people's planning, depending on table matchup.
I mean, they're size 5. Good luck.
My point being, do people spend move actions to get into cover, or do they just spend that to advance scenario in other ways?
I mean, I do, but
is it a great if they can get it, or is it like, oh, I need to plan for that?
Them, I don't think you need to plan for it specifically, because 18 health is 18 health. But which is their defensive stick. Just take them down. Try. You know what you have to put into it to take them down? A fuck ton.
Yeah.
Effectively, what I will say is, with their size and Sentinel programming, it is actually extremely difficult to move these guys.
Cool.
Um,
So, let's
like
see.
Hulkbuster is what can do it off the top of my head because he has energy-based, non-size limited pushes, and that's a 6 threat model. That's essentially where we're looking. Is you need 5
Yeah.
and 6 threat models to move them off of points.
Hulk?
If they can.
Can
Literally,
Hulk
if they
move a
can.
5?
I don't remember.
You're gonna make me look it up, aren't you?
But the thing
But
is
why are
also,
talking a 6 threat model.
But while
yeah,
you're also looking up things, you keep mentioning these tactic cards. And I
yeah,
remember looking at them
yeah,
and going,
yeah. You came
maybe we
on this.
re-explain them.
You jumped.
I'll get around it.
Yeah, you jumped on Discord and you were just like the tactic cards, the tactic cards. What are the tactic cards, Jake?
Yeah, I need to
Oh.
know because maybe you could change my opinion hearing you read them instead of me reading them. But they didn't. They didn't even over or underwhelm me. There was no whelm in there.
You weren't even well.
I want to go give you a hug because you're so ready to dismiss these them as puff pieces. It sounds like
They're a scenario piece.
they put actual thought into some of this stuff, and they're gonna be scary. Like I think you guys are underselling them.
We'll see.
Online and operational. So actually, real quick, we had talked about flight immunity to bleed and poison is good.
Mhm.
It's good. Stun will hurt these guys pretty bad. So you gotta watch out for that. Online operational. Sentinel Prime Mark IV spends 8 power to play. Choose an allied injured Sentinel Mark IV within 3. Flip it to remove all damage, all special conditions. It drops all objective tokens and flips it to the healthy side.
Cool. How many times have you seen that played on the can't remember the metal guy that came in the box set?
Ultron?
Yeah, Ultron.
People splash Ultron specifically for that tactic.
I never can get it to go off.
Well, you're bad.
You also
that's
don't
not the
have
point here.
God, we're all over each other. You also don't have Sentinel Prime who could make like 4 power around without breaking a sweat.
Fine.
So round 3, he has this.
That's true.
Maybe because you're going to be constantly shooting Plasma Blast Mark II and then bumping it up to 8 dice.
You don't have to.
But why wouldn't you?
Oh,
well, then you're still making it back unless you get bad dice rolls, so it doesn't matter.
Maybe that's why I'm salty about this, is because it's going to happen to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that the Sentinels have caused the downfall of the BeerThralls. We will be disbanding.
I'll point out also it doesn't give them an activated token. So if your opponent barely misses, it does say active, but not during Sentinel Prime's activation.
So it can do it to itself.
You could literally activate the model who you're going to flip, who just got all of that power from getting roughed. He doesn't remove the power. So you trigger this card, Prime spends 8, round 3. The Sentinel gets fully healed, is right back up. All of its power stays. It picks up whatever objective token it just dropped. And then it just lays out with 2 suppression protocols.
That is nice. Except he was using Plasma Blast.
Yes, actually, I would be.
Sentinel, this is good. Like, I'm not saying you take Sentinel Prime for this card, because it requires taking a 5-threat and a 4-threat model to be actually useful.
You're going to.
Sentinels, you're going to, so...
Yeah. Okay, under your skin. This is one I mentioned already. When you include this card in your squad, choose a non-Sentinels affiliated character. It is now a Sentinels affiliated character. If your squad is using Sentinels, they get a Nanite token. A character with a Nanite token gains flight and immunity to poison and bleed. That's honestly pretty... For the cards we've seen of just add someone to your squad and make them affiliation based,
this really good. That's good.
Then I have to bring Sentinels, and I don't want to. And I don't...
The real bias is you don't want to play them, but you think they're good secretly.
But who would you who would you use that on?
Oh god, that's an entire topic of conversation.
Anyone who wants rerolls, because you're gonna be able to get it from everyone.
Rerolls and power.
I'm just
remember the Prime ability to give them power tokens, especially if they have good uses for it, but struggle to generate it.
Mordo? Ooh, Mordo.
No, I would bring it with a 3-pointer. It would probably be Domino or Deadpool or anyone with rapid fire.
Domino's a good one. I do like Domino.
Or get Quicksilver and give him. Oh, Quicksilver and his wall crawler. Get an objective runner and give them flight.
And I'm
Now,
using
see,
the bleeding poison. Yeah. No, that's good.
so Toad. Bring Toad.
You can.
Oh my god, Toad with the immunity and flight? Good choice, yes.
But once
Bring
again, then I have to bring Sentinels, and there's no reason to do this.
Okay. Directive 1. During the power phase, allied sentinels can each spend 1 power. If at least 2 is spent this way, you can play this card. That's a
2
trivial
powers or
amount.
2 sentinels?
No, just at least 2 power. Each
Okay.
sentinel can spend 1. So you have to have at least 2 characters pay 1. Until the end of the round, enemy characters do not benefit from the stealth superpower. They cannot re-roll or modify defense dice. Additionally, allied characters do not need line of sight to target enemy characters with attacks until the end of this round. So you just basically
damn.
say, hey, for this round, stealth is irrelevant unless you have an ability that gives stealth but isn't called stealth. Also, if you're using defensive shenanigans, cough any Doctor Strange. Especially original Doctor Strange and Defenders, who is built around giving defense.
Actually, you know what? This was specifically made to just screw up Storm.
Yeah.
Really? I also
Sentinels.
thought that, but Storm's ability is not called stealth.
Okay,
It
so
is her leadership.
That's true.
So it actually does not take away Storm's gimmick. However,
So-
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. I lost my thought.
Taking away the ability to re-roll and modify defense dice is a great offensive move
Yeah, I don't like that.
to boost out your damage, especially when Sentinels can pretty casually throw out 7 and 8 dice attacks
Yeah, with Plasma Blast.
with Plasma Blast, yeah. Or even just their spenders, which really aren't that expensive for how much power they make. Taking away stealth is how a lot of characters kind of sneak by and run objectives.
Don't need line of sight?
Also, don't
Nope.
need at this point. Don't need line of sight is kind of hilarious because it's just like you can't hide. We're huge.
Yeah, so like Rocket hiding behind a friggin' trash can or like a car. Like,
He still
nope.
gets covered.
He still gets cover, but he's gonna get shot.
I mean,
Now you cannot target them with tow cables or whatever it's actually called because
Restraint
that is not
cables.
an attack.
Can if they have wall crawler?
Well, you still can't see them.
Oh, because it's not.
Yeah.
You're right. It's not an
Well,
attack.
wait.
You're not.
I don't think you need line of sight for powers anyway.
Yeah,
well.
you do.
no, this one specifically says and in line of sight.
Yeah.
So yes, you need it.
Okay, that one you do. All right, efficient machines. During the power phase, an allied Cassandra Nova can spend 3 to play this card. Until the end of this round, allied sentinels within 3 of Cassandra Nova treat shields as wilds.
Oh,
That would be the only reason I would do it. But once again, then I have to play Cassandra Nova and Sentinels, and
It's
that just
super
is
expensive.
doubling down on I don't want to do it.
we're gonna have to talk about Cassandra Nova next week or a
Like
week after.
this is an incredible card because it's great it's great defensively, obviously, because it's a strict upgrade, especially with all of their shared ability against mystic attacks to get that as 2 successes. But also offensively with their spenders that we were all yelling about earlier, because now you're throwing out conditions left and right, and you get to count shields as offensive successes.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
If you do this along with Directive 1 to take away defensive tricks and stealth and line of sight, that's a 2-card, 1 round, like maybe round 3 wombo combo of your stuff dies.
I would say round 4, start doing Alpha Strike type deal stuff. Like, just build up a ton of power and just start doing Plasma Blasts as maxed out as you can.
I would still even say round 2 or round 1 if there's enough enemy or round 2 or round 3 if there's enough enemy targets you can
Yeah.
leave. Because
you'd want to do it round 2, round 3.
Dazing to get the power to help make up the cost of playing these cards and then some is going to build you momentum.
Yeah.
Once again,
Really
but once again, you're not going to get that much power back from the affiliation because you're only going to get 1.
Yeah, that's like I said, it's bonus, whatever.
If you trigger it multiple, remember, turn is just activation. It's not a full round.
Yeah. All right, is that the only cards?
No, there's still more.
Oh my god.
They have a lot. No, just again to clarify, you get that leadership per turn as activation. So you
Oh.
can give the model multiple power in a round if you keep dazing things.
True, but you're throwing out enough. But if you throw out enough dice, then it's just like I said. It's just there's a lot of diminishing returns.
It's diminishing returns. Yeah.
Kind of, but not to the degree you're describing, man.
All right. Anyway, next card.
Scrap metal. When an allied character with Sentinel programming, so one of the robots, is KO'd, it can spend 2 power. Again, it probably has it. Roll 5 dice. For every offensive success, all other characters within range 2 of the character that is dying takes a damage.
So
Additionally,
it explodes.
it explodes. All other characters within range 2 of the character that played this card are stunned. The character that played this card is then KO'd.
Including your own models. Don't forget.
It does include your own models.
Yeah, but what you got? Like
But if you're playing
Mark
Super
Prime
Tall,
4, two Mark 4s, Cassandra Nova.
if you're playing
I'm
tall,
just
you don't
saying.
have that many models.
I'm just saying.
Like, oh, cool. Did you actually manage to? Okay, so first Sentinel Prime resurrected one of my Sentinel buddies, and then you managed to actually kill one. Great. Here's up some damage and stun.
That's cool. I would never make my 10. There's other cards.
Ain't got to make your 10. It's got to make your 5.
It's especially not making my 5.
Okay, we are finally done with their tacticals.
Oh, thank God. All right.
Altogether, this is a really small affiliation that kind of looks like a bruiser. It's got a lot of anti-movement tech. So once they get where they want to go, they live there now. You have to work with that. And they have ways to move you off the point with their grapple hook or murder you. Also worth noting, of the conditions they can give out, all of those conditions are good. Incinerate, lower defense; shock, lower attack; slow, you can't move real good. So if you do need to pivot to try to reposition, or if we use the rope to pull you short, or Cassandra Nova uses her 1 cost ability to move your speed, and then you get hit with slow, and now you can't get back to the point without spending all your actions.
So here's my opinion.
It's going to take a lot of work to be good with them. Like, this is not an auto combo, but I think they have a lot of potential.
This is like Black Order to me, and there's a couple other factions where it's like, if you're going to play Sentinels, you're just going to play Sentinels. You're gonna your little tray is gonna have Mark 4, Prime, Cassandra Nova, scattering of a few others that you can just drop a nanite token on. I mean, maybe Iron Man, just so you can do a blast from hell.
Ooh, they do have the power to support that.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I could possibly think of that would be like, oh no, this is awesome.
Black Hell in this case is Helios Laser, another tactic that either Iron Man, probably the 3-cost one, can play.
Yeah, but you're not going to play these in other lists. You're not going to have. I'm not going to have a Sentinel in my Criminal Syndicate. As much as I would love to have a Mark IV just sitting there and being like, cool, you can't move me, and I can have 2 models now. Like, yay! Still 5 points.
Why not?
I still have 5 points. Like, I'd rather bring somebody else.
Or just bring the 4-point version. Literally stand center point on that.
Still,
and then no one's ever touching that again. That is yours for the game. Get him on my back point. That's it. I'm done. Game over. 3 points around.
Don't see it.
I actually do think Sentinel Prime is worth considering splash. Because what is a good 5-threat model? And what does he bring to the table? I think he actually has a lot of tools for 5-threat. His pull to get people out of position. He has good hard-hitting attacks. Pattern analysis is just allied. Doesn't have to be affiliated or anything like that. He generates a ton of power. If you don't need pattern analysis, you can play tactics with him. And he's tanky and hard to kill.
I would reconsider seeing if they brought out like Nimrod or like something else that was Sentinels based, that I didn't have to bring Mark IV Prime, and I could bring like Sentinels and like, I don't know, a senator that's just angrily yelling at people. maybe I would
Maybe
play
extra.
it.
So why is Juggernaut the quintessential 5-threat mob?
There's so much things he can do, including things outside of his own activation.
Right. So we have something you can do outside of your activation with power that buffs your whole team. Juggernaut's very difficult to move off a point once he's there. He's very mobile with his push and mobility. Can't really replicate that here. But he's usually only attacking once per turn for a lot of damage. You could fire off 2 8-dice plasma blasts with little luck pretty consistently.
I'm just gonna bring
While still
Blob.
being super tanky. I'm just saying, for 5-threat, you get a lot for Sentinel Prime Mark.
I do agree. For 5-threat, you do get an awful lot for Prime, and every single time I say that, I think of Transformers. But
Toot, toot, toot.
I don't
Alternate
see
sculpt,
him
go.
bringing. I don't see bringing them into any other really lists. Like,
I'll bring one of the Avengers and prove you wrong. Watch me.
okay.
I think they're adorable. I think they're fluffy. I don't think they're gonna come and take the tournament scene by force. I think they're cute and adorable. If you want to play a fluffy list and do Sentinels versus X-Men, awesome, good on you. I would love to do it. But outside of that, I don't ever want to touch the model. Unless it's gonna be really pretty scenery.
Ooh.
Go ahead and buy the Sentinels box just to cut their arms up and use it as do it.
I mean, or you could just buy the scenery kit that already did that for
I
you.
know. So, final thoughts.
I
Are we
just
still
gave mine.
friends?
No.
Oh,
I
'Cause
still like you, Jake.
I only like Jake if he accepts that Plasma Blast Mark II is actually better. All right. So, game. Thanks very much for watching. We're probably not gonna be doing another one next week. We do have a extra life 8-hour or 12-hour stream going from 8 to 8 on Saturday, November 5th. So, hope to see you there. Bye.
Okay, bye.